Hey everybody, welcome to the Otherz podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Penny. Joining me this week, another return guest. It's been in the works for a while, but he's back after the release of his, I have to say, famous album. It's blowing up.
I don't want to say famous, but I'm just happy that a particular group has taken it in. You know, it's like so I feel so many people have to like push their music on like everybody or try to blend their music in with what's already out. You know, hopefully it catches on. You know, or hopefully people want to mix your music in with Little Uzi or whoever they listen to. But I think it's really dope that like our small niche community likes the music. You know, I'm just happy somebody gets it. You know, because I know a lot of these obscure lines that I drop about a lot of the shit that we're into that the general won't get it. You know, so it is like it is somewhat of a risk. You know, putting that out there and just hoping that the people who I'm making it for will get it. But I think that that's probably the better way to put it. That he got to the right people. You know, it's not like the numbers are crazy. You know, I didn't do like 50,000. It's been like 2 weeks or something like that. I'm very surprised at the numbers though. Like I don't want to say the numbers yet, just because they keep going so fast. I just want to tell people at like maybe like at the month mark, so maybe on the 15th or something like that. I'll tell people like what the numbers are because they're just moving so fast, and I just want people to really see the power of our community, or just the power of what happens when you come together. You know, like a lot of people tell me they didn't know about me for so long, but it's just like due to us coming together and putting our energy to something, we were able to put something at the forefront. And that's kind of same thing we're doing with this podcast is everyone's just pouring their energy into it because it's something that we all really believe in. It's something that we all feel a connection to. So
To me, if the number is greater than one, it's only a positive.
I mean, the one would have been me. So the one stream definitely would have. I would have listened to my shit at least once.
At least once. And after all that, we didn't even introduce you.
Oh yeah. So this is Deau Boy. As he said, I'm a return guest. I'm actually excited to talk about today's topic. But yeah, man, this is Deau Boy. So shout out to everybody who listened to Flamingo. Shout out to everybody who copped the T-shirt. Yes, sir.
Yes, most definitely, and we can get into the album and plug that a bit more later on. I think, 'cause I think people out there definitely want to hear a bit more about it. But let's get into this week's topic, and we've got it's two topics in one, two for the price of one this week. We've got Everyone Knows and the Everyone Knows remix.
There we go.
Another one of those Neptune's tracks where I actually prefer the remix to the original.
See, this is why this is going to be a great conversation, because I can't agree with that. I cannot sign for that. I am more of the original type of guy. The original is just that bass, doom, 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 doom. Like, come on now. As soon as that comes on, you feel that. Like, as soon as that comes on, like, I'll be honest with you. Like, a second before we started doing the podcast, I was like, fuck, man, I don't really remember the original. And then as soon as it came on, like, doom, 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 I was like, oh, fuck, yeah, how the fuck didn't I think I knew this? Like, how the fuck didn't I think I remember this? Like, and I had to run that shit back twice. Like, so sorry for being late.
It's one of those tracks, it's seared into the back of your mind somewhere.
Yeah, it's like you've always heard it somewhere. It's like, even if you didn't hear it on the album, it's like, I think that was a song that was probably used commercially, a few times, or, really used in promo by N.E.R.D. So I think that, even if you didn't just like blast that shit on the album, like, I think a lot of people, just heard that song, whether it was just, in commercial, or whether it was just, them using it, for social media or anything like that. Like, that the original is so epic to me, but with no disrespect to the remix at all.
No, definitely. It's one of those tracks that has been used kind of in TV shows, in adverts, in movies, in computer games. It's been used everywhere. So I think even if you're not overly familiar with the song, you'd probably recognize it to some extent.
Yeah, I mean, the original is just, like I said, when it comes on, it's just like, it's just like, I mean, even the video, even though the video wasn't so spectacular, it's just the fact that, you know, it's like Pharrell's in the BBC shit, you know, it's kind of just, you know, that raw N.E.R.D vibe to it, you know. So I really do like the original as well. I mean, I'm sure we'll get to the remix later, but, you know, so speaking specifically on the original, I have to agree to disagree with Steven. I got to go with the OG, man.
All right, that's fine. We'll get to the remix. We'll start.
No bad blood. No bad blood.
It's all good here. It's all good. But yeah, let's start with the original. So this was the first single off of Seeing Sounds, released on the 13th of April 2008. It wasn't released widely. There's a couple of chart positions here in 2008. It got to number 17 in Japan and a not great 41 in the UK. The remix itself kind of charted, if you can call this charting. The remix actually got to number 32 on the Rolling Stones 100 Best Songs of 2008. They obviously preferred the remix themselves as well.
It's not bad, not bad.
And we've got the original video, which was directed by Diane Martel, who has done numerous videos with Pharrell and N.E.R.D, and a creative company called TAG. I don't really know much about them. And it was done in collaboration with a photo website called Last Night's Party, which I think drove some of the direction of some of the video itself.
Yeah, that makes pretty much sense. Like, I didn't know that, but I definitely can see how they basically just threw a party and they performed there based upon the whole, you know, idea of the company or brand or whatever that they were partnering with.
Yeah, and there's actually like some interesting little facts about this video that I had no idea about until I was digging around earlier on for the usual bits of information. But yeah, it was shot in a nightclub in Madison in New York. In the video, got some cameos of some famous people and also at least one person from the community that we've both met actually. We see Kanye in there. We've got Don C, Lindsay Lohan, Samantha Ronson. And then, not small, a sizable cameo from Sean Risley, who is a friend of the podcast and who I met when I was out in New York last time when I saw you as well in the BBC store.
Oh wow, yeah, that's crazy. That's like full circle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's there moshing in the front row of the video. You'll probably see him with his shoulder length hair and many tattoos. I think you can probably spot him a mile off when he comes into shot. But what was also interesting about this, well, I was reading that they actually nearly shut down the shooting of this video. Obviously, towards the end of the video, the crowd that are there start to get a bit more rowdy, and they actually had actual fights breaking out on the set of the video.
I'm sure that N.E.R.D was not opposed to any of that. I'm sure they were like, keep the cameras rolling. Keep the cameras rolling.
Had they been there, they probably would have been, yeah. They weren't actually on set on that day, I don't think, from what I read. But yeah, some fights broke out. There were no security. Some trade unions got involved and were going to pull all the people that were kind of extras from the set and until there were kind of extra security put in place.
I have no clue how you always get this crazy like insider info. It's like, how do you know that? It's like that's you're like the Nardwar of Star Trek. Yeah, you know, like how do you know a fight broke out? He's like, yeah, and this girl took her heel off and she threw it across the room. And yeah, all of that good stuff.
This is the joys of the internet. This is the age in which we live in, where I can just Google this shit.
What kind of internet you guys got over in Finland, man? You guys got the dark web over there. It's like you had to dig deep in the internet for that shit. A fight at the video shoot, like.
Luckily, this was actually one that I think I pulled off Wikipedia earlier.
Oh
randomly.
Wow. Okay.
So anyone can go there and find this out.
Steve is just pulling a fast one over on us. Like he literally just goes to Wikipedia and reads the full article. Like he's probably the one who types the article on Wikipedia.
I certainly don't spend my time typing it.
He just types whatever he wants. Whatever he wants it to say.
I just make it up. Yeah.
And they were fighting.
in theory, I probably could do that and probably get away with it.
Yeah, exactly. Look at him. There we go. If I did it, like.
But no, I think like most weeks, my course of action is Wikipedia, look up the song, look up the album, Genius, read the lyrics, read the ridiculous notes that people post on some of those lyrics. What else is there? Read some of the YouTube comments, then actually Google it and read some articles and reviews. Just, general stuff like that, not too much digging. And then, of course, over the years, you get to hear certain stories and bits of information and things from people all over the place.
Yeah, as you said, like, there's always just shit in the back of your mind. Like, you're always just like, oh, I remember this,
Definitely. We've also got, what else did we find out about this? We've got MTV actually initially refused to play the video due to the obvious cocaine references that we have in the song. The song is essentially about the social cocaine habits of women in bathrooms at clubs and parties.
Oh, is that where MTV decided to take a stand?
Exactly.
That's the moment that they decided to become martyrs.
Yeah, and they only relented when they realised lots of people were actually coming to the site, looking for it, searching for it, and requesting it, and then they realised, I think we fucked this up. So
let's give the people their cocaine.
Yeah, so they actually then put a kind of censored version on the website.
Yeah.
So they relented quite quickly.
I actually just watched the video not too long ago, and I didn't even recall like the whole bag. And in the beginning, I didn't even recall that whole situation. So I'm probably sure I saw the edited one back then.
Yeah, and you've also got, I think throughout the video, you've got those little kind of video blocks where it comes up, removed by request. I don't think that was an MTV thing. I think this was just an edited version, but those sections did actually have video in them initially. So there's the big kind of giant nose that you kind of see, the character, which I think is done by Cause.
Yeah, I saw the hands. I was like, yo, that looks like Cause.
Exactly, yeah. I think that features a bit more prominently and is an obvious reference to cocaine. And then there are also supposedly nude strippers as well.
Makes sense. Very N.E.R.D of them. It's crazy that Pharrell doesn't do drugs, but it's just like he has this whole ambition to be like this rock star, and it's like, but at the end of the day, he's just a nerd, it's just no pun intended, but it's just funny that it's like, he's a rock star, but he's a nerd, it's kind of contradictive, so to speak, but I like to think that all humans are contradictive. It's all about the balance of it,
Yeah, very much so, and I think I kind of have this conversation with people occasionally. I think that's why he himself is so popular. That's why he can appeal to small kids when he does things like Happy, but then can appeal to us when he does things like this and, I don't know, Rockstar or whatever it may be.
Happy was not for someone like myself.
Exactly. But yeah, I think depending on kind of what you've kind of experienced of him from the outside, you have a different perception of him. We're obviously fans, so we've kind of seen that whole thing over the last kind of 15 years with him going off and doing different genres and doing movies and TV and all this kind of stuff. But some people will only know songs like this and will know him from singing on the hooks of, kind of big hip hop songs, and they will think he is this kind of gangster kind of persona. But then there are other people that I bump into that have no idea he's a hip hop producer.
Yeah.
And they just know
like the
him
happy
from,
guy,
exactly,
the guy with the hat.
Exactly. That's exactly how he gets referred to, yeah. And they only know him from that stuff. So I think that's kind of part of his appeal as well, and what's made him, so successful over these years.
Yeah, I think that very few artists have been able to do that. Like, even for myself as an artist, it's very hard finding that balance of where, you can pull from both sides. Like I'm a very, very big, hip hop buff. I'm a big rap connoisseur, but I also have this side of me that likes indie pop shit, like Passion Pit and, even fucking Foster the People, that's the type of shit that I like to listen to as well. So I was like, just finding that balance, I think is dope, when you really get that good, when you really get the right equation, and it all makes sense. It just, like you said, it really becomes beneficial, or you can kind of spread yourself across both sides.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you have that global reach as well, and you have kind of the marketing behind you and things like that kind of helps no end as well. Because if something doesn't work, you can always move away from that and move on to other things that are going to work, essentially. What else have we got in the video? So the video itself is, as we kind of mentioned, just one kind of big party, which is taking place in a nightclub. We've got Chad substituting as a security guy at one point with Lindsay Lohan. We've got Shay, or she, as my notes have auto-corrected to, playing a barman at one point and smashing up some ice and pouring drinks. We don't see Pharrell taking on a second job at any point, unsurprisingly. But then we do see them as a band, obviously playing to the crowd kind of throughout the video. As you mentioned, you've got the kind of BBC fit there. I don't think Chad and Shay have got any BBC.
Shay had on like some fresco or something like that. The same thing he had on in the remix video.
Yeah, he has the same T-shirt there, yeah. Pharrell's got the green kind of, I think, BBC fitted. I'm trying to think now, the red T-shirt, the black hoodie with the Las Vegas cowgirl on the back, which I have that hoodie as well.
Of course you do.
Of course I do, yeah. And I think there's something in the remix video that I own as well.
He had a cardigan on as well, I believe.
In the remix one, he does, yeah.
Oh, no, yeah, you're right. He just had the black hoodie on in the original.
Yeah, and the T-shirt, yeah, underneath. So yeah, we've got some like nice early BBC items in there, but yeah, not overly branded as we've seen with some videos.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I think around this time they were sort of this 2008 now, isn't it? So BBC's been around for a little while. They went really heavy early on, then it kind of died down a little bit. Then now they're trying to sort of, I think, find that balance, and especially I think when there's other people that are investing in the video and working in collaboration as well, they probably don't want it to be a big BBC
big commercial
promo party. Yeah,
yeah, that makes sense.
As you said, you prefer this original track to the remix.
Yes, sir.
Any particular reason why?
I really like the fact that like the whole analog band feel. Like I like the remix version. But I'm like I said, I really like like indie pop or indie rock and things like that. So I like when N.E.R.D can find that balance. Like that's what's dope to me. So I feel like a lot of N.E.R.D records can come out like the can come out like the remix. But I'm not sure how many records they could make that would come out like the OG of Everybody Knows. Like it's pretty easy to call up Kanye, Lupe, and Pusha T and say, hey, we got this beat. Let's just rap back to back on this shit, But for the OG version, it's like, man, like that whole vibe is just crazy,
Yeah, definitely. And I think I read some quotes from Shay as well, kind of after the single had come out, and he was expressing his surprise at how popular the song had been and how well it had kind of done with radio plays. He was saying, it's at the time it was completely different to anything else that was kind of being played on the radio.
Yeah,
it does have that kind of weird.
I think N.E.R.D always does that though. Yeah, they always stand out on the radio. Yeah,
definitely, and it has that kind of mixture of, it's got the kind of rock elements. It's got the kind of punky elements. It's got the kind of pop elements as well.
Yeah, it has everything. Let's just say that it's perfect, Steve. And let's just say that you've joined the dark side now because, you've already started, man. You're like, yo, it's got this. Man. What more do you want, man? Are you not entertained?
I'm not saying it's a bad song by any means. I'm just saying, from my own listening preferences, I prefer the remix. I've got to say, on the original, I really like the bridge. And
how could you not?
Listening back to it today and paying a bit more kind of attention to it, it's not the best kind of Pharrell bridge ever. But for some reason, I just kind of really like it. And I like the way it ties in with the video as well, where he's kind of filming himself with the girl. And it's almost like he's, talking directly to her.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about that record. Like, you know, like I feel like a lot of the rock records, you know, rock inspired records N.E.R.D does, some of them are hit or miss. You know, like some of them just sound like kids in a garage making music, which is essentially, I guess, the N.E.R.D vibe. But I think that record was just like one where it was just like every component came together and just worked really well, and that's why, like I said, I really just like the OG version because everything just made sense for that song. You know, like as much as I do like indie pop music, I listen to mostly hip hop, pretty much like everyone else. You know, like hip hop is the biggest genre in America, at least right now. So I listen to majority of that, but I feel like the OG version of Everybody Knows, like I could turn that shit on, you know, and not feel like I'm leaving an element of like, you know, what I normally listen to in my everyday, like my day to day, even though it is essentially, you know, a rock or a pop inspired song.
So before we chat about the remix, give me a quick score if you can out of 10 for the song and then the video.
So for the song, I would have to give it, I would say 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for the song. Just because I want to give it an 8.5, but I'm not gonna do Pharrell like that. So I gotta, because I feel like it could get an 8.5 from someone else. You know, like I feel like someone else could give it an 8.5. So I'll give it a 9. As far as the video, I have to go with a 3, man. You know, just because I just feel like whether they had a budget or not, like they could have shot that shit in the BBC store, fam. Like, you know, like they could have shot that shit somewhere else, you know, like as opposed to some fucking, you know, musty college party with people doing drugs, you know. So I like the video. I think it goes along with the song, but I think that, you know, for that song to have been, you know, or at least the aura or vibe that it gives me, I feel like that it could have been a bit brighter. The video seemed a bit dim or a bit dark. So I think the video could have popped a bit more. But yeah, unfortunately, I have to give it a 3. But I don't feel bad about that because that's not Pharrell's fault. He didn't shoot it. He probably got a check to just do a project with the company and was like, okay, you guys can do this video because this song is not really gonna be big anyway. So you guys can get this video for it. Just give us a check, and you know that's probably what happened. So. But yeah, 10 for the song. I mean, 9 for the song and 3 for the video, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely kind of with you on the video there. It's not an awful video. There's some okay and interesting elements there, which I think have been brought in by the people they've been sort of collaborating with. But yeah, as you say, it is just like a small dark club, and with I can kind of get why they did it. It's that kind of punky, grungy kind of element to the song, but I would rather they had focused on the other side of the song, the kind of the tempo and the fact that it's an upbeat kind of song, and like you say, you know, something that would, you know, sort of make the video pop a little bit more in some way.
Yeah, they could have added some animation or something, you know, like some type of something. But like I said, I don't think that Pharrell really had a hand in that whole creative control of that video. I think it was more so, as you said, just the company that they were working with, kind of driving the whole image behind that.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I think I'd probably give the video a sort of 3 or 4 as well.
There
Nothing
we go,
special
man.
about it. The
We
song,
agree on something.
yeah, we do. But the song, I'm gonna have to say, it gets a solid
Sorry,
7.
I'm bad at a drum roll. Oh my god, what? A 7?
7's not bad.
A 7? Okay, so I'm letting everybody know at this moment that Steve's American pass is now revoked. He can never step foot on Trump's land ever again.
I don't think that's really a bad thing at the moment.
He's like, hey, yeah, I'm actually jealous of you if that's the case. But yeah, that's crazy. A 7? That's what I'm saying. Like, yo, they could have got a 7 from Pitchfork, man. Come on, you can't give them a 7, man.
I think a seven on my scale is
You should be nicer,
is a
Steve.
good.
You should
A
be
7
nicer,
is a
man.
good. It's not very good. It's not excellent, but at the same time, it's above mediocre. It's above.
I mean, but so you don't.
Decent.
It doesn't get extra points for like you said. Like the song just pretty much it fills that space in your head where it's like you kind of always remember it. Like that doesn't give an extra point, man. Like
I'm giving it.
We can't
It's
give
a
it
point
one
for that
extra
anyway.
point? Oh, wow. So it's a 6 originally, is what you're telling me?
I think
You're really saying that the song isn't. You're like, hey man, the song is almost. It's not really half bad. Like that's how you would describe the song, man. At this point.
I would describe this song as an okay to good song.
Wow, man. My feelings are hurt. I'm actually kind of regretting that I signed on for this whole thing. Like I could have just kept going about my positive day before you just came with all this blasphemy.
Came and shut you down, man. Damn.
Yeah. This is bad. This is bad. Together, I don't even think together your score for the video and the song equals a 10. like actually it equals a 10. You give the video a 3, you give the song a 7. It gets a 10 from you together. Like that's terrible, man.
That's smack in the middle. So out of 20, it's smack in the middle.
I don't know how you guys do math in Finland, but that's bad.
I think with that poor video dragging it down, I think that equals out about right.
All right, we got to agree to disagree on that one. Revenge is gonna definitely be sweet, when we get to the remix, when we get to. I'm not gonna forget any of this.
That's all right. And I'm sure people in the comments will tell me what crap I'm talking as well.
Yeah, at least that's the first step to becoming better, or getting help is admitting you have a problem. So admitting that there's something wrong with you and not the song is the first step. We're all proud of you, Steve.
But again, I don't know if part of it is the fact that I've heard that song so many times over the years, and while it is it's a good song, it's an infectious kind of song. I think similar to like Hot and Fun, where it's used a lot and you hear it a lot in the background. It gets a little bit, I guess, repetitive at times.
Yeah. You're gonna compare Everybody Knows to Hot and Fun?
No, I'm not comparing the songs. No, there is no comparison. They are night and day.
Yeah, because Hot and Fun is garbage. Sorry, P.
We agree on that one. Dave won't be happy, but at least we agree on that one.
Dave likes that?
Yeah, a lot of people like that song, funnily enough.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. That's a shocker, I know.
I'm sorry to hear that, Dave.
All right, let's move on to the remix. Now, I prefer this track. This is almost a completely different song. It's obviously got the same hook, but essentially it's very different. And the video, I think...
Different tempo.
Different tempo, different everything. The video, I think, is like 1,000 times better. This is where the budget went. This is, hey, Hype Williams, you are, the music video master. Come and do us something really cool. And basically, they've just put them in front of a green screen, got them to kind of obviously lip sync along, sent that off to Hype Williams, and he's done his magic. And I think it's a great video. This really does pop. This has got great graphics, great colors, really nice imagery in it. It's funny in parts as well. Some of the kind of quirky little graphics and animations. I really, really like this. So for those that haven't seen the remix video, I know some people aren't aware of this remix, in fact.
How could you not be aware of a song that features Kanye, Pusha T, and
Lupe
and Lupe? Like that's crazy. Shame on you.
Exactly, but there are some out there. So if you've not seen the videos, it's kind of very 80s, 16-bit arcade style, everything kind of pixelated and digitized, and then you've got some kind of graphics of like Donkey Kong and Space Invaders and things like that kind of mixed in there. I think it works. It works so well. And I saw some quotes and stuff from, I think, both Pharrell and Chad, and they were talking about how this was done afterwards, how they had made Everyone Knows, and basically they just stripped it back completely, broke it all down into its kind of different elements, and then just thought, okay, we want to have some fun with this, so let's just try and build it up in some slightly different way. And this is what came of it.
Yeah, honestly, I'm very sorry to pump your brakes on the video. But I like the video as well, but I think that the video seemed a bit lazy to me. It just seemed kind of like, as you said, it was just, they got in front of a green screen and kind of just put some animation around them, which, in some cases that has turned out, to work well. But I think in this case, it just kind of became lazy. They were just standing there essentially, the whole video, really just standing next to each other, like it wasn't much.
What do you want? A choreographed line dance of some kind?
No, I didn't want them to do the electric slide in unison. No, I mean, as I said, I really like the whole bright vibe of Pharrell or N.E.R.D's whole brand. So I think that the Everybody Knows remix could have even been brighter as opposed to just this dark video, which was like pixelated. Like I really didn't like the whole pixelated vibe. I was just like, man, like, it could have been a clean cut, video that popped, like that's my whole thing. Like I said, I'm really just I'm a bigger fan of Ice Cream than I am of BBC. So that kind of lets you know how I side with things, so this video seemed very BBC-ish, as opposed to being Ice Cream-ish. I know neither one of those are words, but that's the best that I could come up with for now. But, even like some of the logos that were in there were like diamonds and things like that. It was more of a reference to BBC, I feel like. And I'm more of an Ice Cream guy myself, more of a silly, bright, colorful type of person. So I really like videos more so like Mr. Me Too and those type of things where it's just like bright and in your face, as opposed to just like this dark video or like you said, them just standing in front of a green screen. Sorry.
No, I kind of get some of that, yeah. Where you mentioned like where they sort of give them that kind of digitized 16-bit kind of look. I think that might have been overdone at a certain point.
Yeah, overdone. Like, yeah, it could have been cool, but overdone.
They do it the whole way through the video. Yeah, and there could have been a few scenes where they didn't.
I'm like, now it just looks like my internet is slow. Like, at this point, it just looks like I need to find a new internet provider.
Looks super low res, yeah. And yeah, there probably could have been a few shots where they didn't use that on whoever was stood there doing their verse or doing whatever. But I think in general, it kind of worked. We've also got a few cameos in this video as well. We've got Don C, who turns up in this one as well as the original one.
Shout out to Don C.
And we've got Family, makes a quick appearance.
Shout out to Family.
I used to own that t-shirt. Yeah, the t-shirt he's wearing with the BBC crest on the front, I used to have that. One of my many that went missing all those years ago.
I think, did that one have a black tag?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Okay.
No idea. And then also Nego makes a quick appearance in there as well, throwing up the Star Trek sign, I think.
With the Space Beach t-shirt on, by the way.
That's it, yeah.
Ice Cream.
Definitely, yeah. He's got the Space Beach tee on. We've got Pharrell in a couple of shots at least in those kind of wraparound sunglasses, giving himself I was going to say a futuristic look from the 80s. So if you're in the 80s, that's what you think the future's going to look like, those kinds of glasses, which are cool again now, I think, amongst some of the kids. A BBC script tee. He's got a red ice cream fitted as well, I think. And then, as you mentioned earlier, the kind of white and black cardigan as well.
Yeah, I think that's a Gucci cardigan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I know BBC had one, identical essentially.
Yeah, I think it was white, green, and red, if I recall correctly. I could be 100% wrong.
Please correct either one of us in the comments, people, if you
Please
happen
do.
to...
If I'm wrong, do not say anything. If I'm right, don't say anything either.
Either way you win. It's fine. So what else have we got in the remix? Some of the kind of, as you mentioned, they kind of just go back to back essentially with their verses, with one or two choruses thrown in there somewhere. Kanye's verse, was all right.
Yeah, I think honestly, and not because of I don't listen to Kanye much now, but I really think like that first line was just so obnoxious.
Yes,
Like
very
nobody is
much
in a
so,
club
yeah.
and walking up to a girl that like it's for Kanye to think that was cool or funny is just like it was just corny. It was like, like I don't think anybody has ever used that and it worked. Maybe the first time the joke was ever said, it worked, but after that, I don't think it ever worked again, besides from the originator of it.
And it's funny because when I listen back to that, that's kind of the part that makes me cringe slightly. And I don't know if he's genuinely using that line or whether he's doing it kind of tongue in cheek, like he's
Yeah, exactly.
parodying himself or a situation or whatever. I can never quite work it out, but I err to the verge of I think he's being serious, and it's a little bit cringeworthy.
Yeah, so and I hate the fact that kind of just starts the whole shit, So I'm like, once I get past that, I'm pretty good. Yeah, but that whole entrance to the song is just it's very, very cringeworthy to me as well.
Yeah, we've got the Pharrell verse, which is a decent Pharrell verse.
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Yeah, it's not amazing, but it's not bad. It's one of his better ones.
I mean, it's not like in my mind the prequel or anything, but it's good enough.
Yep, certainly does the job on a remix. I quite like the Lupe verse with his use of the word high, that he obviously uses throughout the whole verse multiple times in each kind of bar and everything, and how he switches that up and uses different versions of high and even switches other words to incorporate the word high. So he uses the word iPod, but he changes it to HiPod.
Yeah, it's very, very Lupe, very, very, very Lupe to show you that he's thinking of the bigger picture all the time, by making everything connect, or that's Lupe for you right there.
Yeah, and there's a couple of other kind of references he makes as well. I can't remember the actual line, but yeah, that just kind of tie it into the original as well. So obviously high. Obviously, if you take drugs, you get high. For those that don't take drugs and don't know.
I wouldn't know that at all.
No, of course not. No. We're normal, law-abiding citizens.
Tax-paying citizens.
Exactly. That's us. But yeah, there's a couple other lines in there as well where I think, like Hydrox, he mentions, and there's something else as well. I can't remember what it is, but it kind of tie it back into that original theme, which I think is quite clever to do. And then we've got the Pusher verse at the end, which I think is a great Pusher verse. I really like it. I love his flow. It's done at like sort of double time. Some of the lines that he's got in there are really good. I really, really like that verse right at the end. I think it finishes off the song really, really well.
All right, so Steve, I'm gonna let you finish, but Pusha T's verse was not that fire on there, man. I just don't like the fact, like I like double time flow, especially back then. Back then, I think that it was even more of a dope thing to do because now everyone does it. But it just sounds so forced to me, like I don't think that it didn't sound like to me, or some people say that when rappers rap gracefully on something that they're floating, and Pusha T usually floats on records to me. It's like every pocket hits, everything is just the emotion is here on that part, like it just kind of sounds like it's being effortlessly done. But I feel like on Everybody Knows remix, it didn't really sound effortless from him. It was just like, King of the Kofo beat, everything is okie dokie, everything is okay. Like, it's like, it just sounded like he had a, like, I paint mirror commies on you. Like, it's just like, it sounded so forced as opposed to just sounding like how Pusha T just, raps like on Exodus or some shit like that, or even on Grinding. From yard to yard, so soft to hard, I'm your neighborhood pusher. Call me subwoofer. Like it's just like it flows so well, like Pusha T's usually in a great pocket or has a great cadence whenever he's rapping. But I feel like on the remix it just sounded so forced, or it sounded like, it just sounded like he was, no pun intended, really trying to push it through.
Yeah, I kind of get you. I personally think that was kind of purposefully done almost. I think to kind of tie it into the beat and the flow of the song.
Steve has realized that I made a great point, and I've now ruined the song for him for eternity.
No, never. I respect your opinion. That's fine.
Thank you.
But
Likewise.
I have to say I disagree, but nah. And I have to say we got Push in some early Play Clothes stuff as well there, which I think he also mentions in the verse.
Yeah, he
as
also
well.
makes some references to it. Getting play clothes popping.
Are they still going?
Yeah, they are. So play clothes has honestly kind of fell into the same situation as BBC, where it's just like they don't really have a niche consumer anymore. It's more so just like people who go to the mall and just see the shit in the window and they're like, oh, I heard this in a song once, you know, and then, or they're like, oh, this rapper, you know, that's Pusha T's brand, you know, and then they'll buy it. But I don't think there's like any guys walking around with like, you know, head to toe play clothes shit. You know, like I'm still looking for the play clothes G Shock though, but the all red one, that shit was fire. But I don't think there's many people walking around in full play clothes outfits besides the people that go like to malls and, you know, just buy random shit, you know, whenever they go out to find clothes.
I think Push has probably slightly moved on from Clay. I can't speak now, from Play Clothes as well.
I don't think he's moved on because, you know, like I feel like I've seen him like, you know, still make references, not on record, but just, you know, addressing it and talking about it. I feel like Malice probably handles a bit more of it since he doesn't do the music as much. But yeah, Play Clothes is still thriving. It's just that places like Jimmy Jazz, I don't know if you guys have that or if you know what that is.
Nope.
But pretty much like a Karma Loop or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it'll be on those sites and things like that where it's just kind of like they have literally every fucking brand
with all the generic
you know,
stuff.
with all the generic shit, you know. So I hate to, you know, say that BBC was in the same boat as that, but
it was.
You know,
it
I mean,
was for a
BBC
while,
is kind of, you know, so it's along the same lines as that.
The BBC Bad Days.
I was actually talking about currently. I'm sorry. I was actually talking about currently. I'm sorry.
Ooh, shots fired.
No shots fired. I mean, I just don't think, like I said, BBC doesn't really have like a fan base anymore. Like, you know, even for us, like we spend outrageous amounts of money buying old shit because, you know, we're not satisfied with the new shit. It's like, you know, we wish we could buy $50 BBC t-shirts as opposed to digging on the internet looking for this fucking shirt that was, you know, made before you even had your fucking children. You know, so it's just like, you know, we wish we can get some of that same shit, you know, but, you know, soon enough.
I partly agree with that, yeah. And I think, I think we mention this sort of most weeks or every other sort of episode or whatever. Yeah, they're in a bit of a, especially the US side of things, are in a bit of a transition.
Yeah, you guys have always been great over there.
Moment.
You guys have always been pretty. Everything has pretty much been seamless for Europe.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, because obviously all the stores work independently. The US obviously has the larger market, and I think they still have a lot of these old kind of tie-ins with some of the stores and things that they have contracts with still. So they have to produce, let's say, the less outlandish kind of stuff. They have to produce the more consumer-friendly stuff to bring people into the stores and sell them to the department stores.
You wouldn't believe the places that you see BBC now. Like, you wouldn't believe the fucking stores. They're like, you can go to like TJ Maxx and get like a BBC shirt now. You know, like
yeah, and that's the problem. And I know from like people I've spoken to, they're trying to wind down those contracts or rescind the contracts that Iconics made when they bought all the shares many years ago.
They're gonna have to wind down a lot because there's a lot of shit in these stores that I see. Yeah, like, yo, why is there BBC jeans next to fucking Sean John? You know, like, but I respect it. I'm just happy that, you know, at least Pharrell's getting paid. Like, that's always good.
But yeah, I've got to say, and like obviously with the EU store and the Japan store, the Tokyo store working independently, I think over here in Japan we see some more interesting and more kind of creative ideas happening. And
yeah, they kind of stick with the brand over there for you guys. Like over here we got like some shit with like dudes on motorcycles. I'm like, yo, when has BBC ever had motorcycles? Like, you know, like it's just like, you know, it's always like it could be anything, you know. But it's like BBC literally, it does have a foundation, you know, like there's a foundation behind the brand, you know. It's colorful, it's playful, it's outer space, you know. It's Japanese streetwear. That's essentially the equation for BBC. So I just feel like if they can get back to that as opposed to, you know, just making like, you know, random shit, like, You know, like you can go get a lot of that shit from other companies, you know. No disrespect, but it's just like a lot of the designs now you can just go buy that from another brand that you might like, you know, as opposed to a lot of their original designs that were very different that other brands weren't offering, you know, back when they were producing products like that. But I still got love for BBC, man. Like I just wanted to correct the shots fired. I'm like, yo, no shots fired, man. If anything, I'm hoping that BBC can get back to the Grail days, so I can go in the store and actually buy shit. You know, like I want to go there and buy shit.
I've got to say, if anyone out there, if you do kind of like the early stuff, like you were just saying, the kind of colors that pop, the kind of interesting patterns.
Your
and stuff
favorite
like that,
pattern is the star, the galaxy
the
pattern.
Starfield,
It's like that's one of the most colorful. You know, it has every fucking color you could think of in it.
Yeah, definitely, and I love that. And if you like any of those kinds of patterns and designs, then I highly recommend you follow what the EU store is doing. You know, they dropped their first release for, what are we now? Spring, summer, autumn, whatever it is, this week. They've got a new, I think they call it fish camo pattern, which is a strange name, but it's a really nice camo design. They've got some new hoodies.
Did you guys get the baseball collections yet?
No, I've seen them
Okay.
obviously on the US side of things. I don't know if I can see that working in Japan. I think they've had some of them.
Yeah.
Because obviously baseball is quite big over there. In the UK and in Europe, like nobody follows that.
Because you guys are sane. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Fans.
we have more interesting sports and things to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if that would particularly sell well in the UK or in Europe. I don't think it really has that appeal at all. Not even from this kind of sports sense of things, but just from the fashion side and the way that influences things. I don't think it kind of really works over here. But yeah, if you do like some of the older stuff, some of the crazy colourful stuff, then definitely go check out the releases this week and over the coming weeks of the EU store. They got some really nice hoodies and stuff, which I might try and get hold of in the coming weeks. Really nice, crazy, like pink colors with the camo on the inside.
Look, this is how you know Steve is connected. He has all the insider info. He's like, yeah, just go in, you know, and it's gonna be in the back right there. It's like, yo, this is how you know that Steve personally knows the people at the store, because he's just like, yo, yeah, they just got this in, man. Go tell them I sent you. He's like, you know, if that's your thing, tell him I sent you, man. See, he's like, hey, go see my guys, man.
Right, what have we got next? Oh, right, I didn't give the song a score. Did you give the remix a score?
This is my favorite time. No.
Come on, you go first. No, actually, I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first, man.
I think mine's fairly predictable. I will give the song
It's taking him too long.
a 7.5.
A 7.5?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not brilliant, but it's I prefer it over the original, and I'll give the video a 7 as well. It's a good video. It's a strong video.
I would hate to have Steven's eyes, because obviously, you know, they are very, very hard to impress. You know, like he probably watches, you know, like Titanic, and he's like, what's this bullshit? You know, it's like
Come on, what's your score?
For the song, it's gonna be an easy 5 for me. Easy 5, just because I feel like I can get so much better from each one of those artists by listening to other records from them. I don't have to, like, that's not like a record I have to listen to hear, like, you know, what, like, kind of like a lot of people like the record Swagger Like Us, you know, where it was kind of a mixture of all different types of rappers, and they kind of listen to that because that's like kind of the best place that you're gonna hear T.I. together with I forgot who else was on there. Was Jay-Z on there? Yeah, Jay-Z was on there. Like, that's like kind of the only place you can hear that at that level. But I think everybody knows it's kind of like, you know, I can listen to way better Pusha T verses. I can listen to way better Pharrell verses, way better Kanye verses. So yeah, I gotta give the song a 5. For the video, I probably give the video maybe a 6. I'll give the video a 6. There we go.
That's respectful. It's not as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah, I'll give it a 6, man. I'm not here to badge. I'm not here to, like, you know, I'm not here to give Pharrell bad scores for anything. You know, so it's like, but I think that's safe. I think a 6 is safe for how I feel about that video, because I can appreciate it, but it's not for me.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. All right, let's move on to some other news and bits and pieces from the last kind of week or two. Something I didn't mention in the last podcast, which I had in the notes and completely forgot about. Something in the water. The music festival taking place in Virginia Beach this is next month, isn't it? In May, I think it is.
No, it's this month.
Is it this month?
Yeah, it's like the 26th or something like that, man.
Time is flying. Yeah, I know a few people going. I think Dave might be heading down there, so...
I'm going to go to Virginia. I'm not going to go to the show just because I hate festivals, especially festivals with people that I actually want to see. Like, I would hate to go sit there and listen to 20 artists to see Pharrell. I don't want to see Pharrell as much because I've seen him perform so much. And, obviously I've met him, not too long ago. So I feel like the next time I see him, it'll probably be a bit more of a personal level as opposed to me seeing him with 50,000 people. So I won't go to the concert, probably not. But I'll be in Virginia Beach for sure. I just want to go down there and kind of connect with other people in the community. But I'm not really sure because there's so many other artists that it may not even be like, the type of event that I think it's going to be where it's like mainly Pharrell fans or mainly us, the Otherz down there. I think
it's going to be a big mix.
I think it's just like you're going to just see people who want to see like, fucking LMA and shit or whoever's on it. Who just wants to see those artists, but it's like, fuck, I want to see, like, Teddy Riley and shit like that, like, that's what I want to go see, Teddy Riley and Missy, like, when the fuck am I going to see Missy perform, so that's what I would be excited about, but yeah, I'm going to go down there just to kind of, peep the vibes and just see how it is, but I'm definitely going to be upset if it's not, like, a big, Otherz vibe there. If it's just like, people are just coming to see fucking Rich the Kid and shit like that. It's like, I don't really think those are the people who my music is for, so to speak.
Yeah.
I hope they listen to it, but I don't think it's like for them or what we do is probably not for them.
Yeah, there's definitely, they've got that mixture of artists there where it's going to pull in, people like ourselves that are going for these kind of artists that we like as part of this community. But then, they've also got the other artists in there that are going to pull in people from the kind of fringes and that just generally like,
people who go to festivals
popular
all
music.
The time.
Exactly. Yeah. So you've got like, J Balvin, you got Diplo, who else we got, like Travis Scott, Dave Matthews.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to party with like Diplo fans. Like no offense, but I don't think that like I just like Diplo's DJ tonight. Let's go. I'm gonna be like,
I'm with you.
Have a great time, So I was like, no disrespect, but I just don't think that. I'm starting to think now that it might not be a good idea to go because because what I wanted to do was I wanted to kind of organize something like see who was all going and maybe I could just throw like a pizza party or something or just get like a section on a beach or something we can kind of meet up or something like that. But it's just like I'm not really sure if it's gonna be too many of us going. Like if it was just like all Virginia-based artists. But it's like Chris Brown is there. Like, what the fuck? Like, I love Chris Brown, too. Like, I was on tour with Chris Brown, but it's like, I love him. But it's just like when it comes to, like actually going to see him perform with like 50,000 jumping people on a beach and just it being that hectic to see, all of those artists that I probably wouldn't go see in concert by themselves. It's just like, it might be a hard pass for me, man.
You got to think of all the good ones that are there, though, and the people that will be there to see the good ones.
I mean, I really only want to see Missy. Like, that's literally the only good one to me is Missy, Pharrell, and Teddy Riley, Charlie Wilson. The shit that I normally listen to, like the Star Trek or, shit like that. That's kind of all tied into, what we're into. That's the shit that I'm into. That's kind of what I like supporting. Like, I'll listen to everything, but there's very few things that I give my support to, or I give, my attention to the same way that I would give it to, what we were generally into.
Yeah. I think I'm looking at the list here, and I think there's enough here that would kind of tempt me. Yeah, you got Teddy Riley, you got Pusha T, Janelle Monáe, Maggie Rogers. There's obviously a lot of artistry and stuff like that going on as well, which is being announced. You got Cause there as well.
Yeah, and that's what I saw too. Like Virgil's doing some shit there.
Yeah,
like,
Virgil's going to be there. Deepak Chopra.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, so that's why I was like, that's one thing that made me kind of, like, fuck, I should have got a ticket, because honestly, I'm the type of person that will go to like those events when I'm not going to the show. Like, I'm literally not going to a show with thousands of people outside, hot, and just jumping and just standing there, getting my clothes fucked up. And I don't want to be like the old grumpy person there, like, don't touch me. It's like, this is what people come to concerts to do, is the mosh pit and shit like that. So I'd rather just take myself out of that environment than be like sitting there grumpy, like, you just stepped on my shoes, man. Like.
But you've got to think like how potentially epic the Pharrell set is going to be.
Yeah.
So we know Chad's going to be there, so it's going to be very Neptunesy. And then already confirmed, you've got Diddy, as you say, Missy Elliott.
Yeah, that's
Usher,
what I Diddy too.
Gwen
Yeah, but
Stefani,
I met Diddy
Snoop
last
Dogg.
year. So Usher is gonna be there.
Yeah, Usher's there. So you got to think when the Pharrell set comes on.
Yo, that's crazy.
And they do that.
They're gonna do You Don't Have to Call.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. So when you get that 20, 30-minute Neptunes kind of throwback set that they normally do, and you've got those people actually coming out to do the songs, that's going to be pretty decent.
I honestly think that I could probably, like, finesse a ticket or get a pass. They're actually they're doing something with Airbnb, and a few of my friends work with Airbnb, so I'm trying to see if there's like any corporate thing that's going on where they might be able to give me a pass or something like that for one of the days or something like that. But yeah, you're making this Neptune set just sound so epic, but it's just like that literally would be the only thing I would go for, is like that and Missy. Like, I like Janelle Monáe, but I don't know if I would stand there.
That's what you got to do, man. You got to be on the fringes during the day, chill, go to some of the talks, look at the artwork.
Yeah,
do
that's
that.
what I want to do.
And then just hit the headline sets at like 9, 10 p.m. Job done.
So yeah, I'm hoping that one of my friends and that work corporate, can, maybe they got badges or passes or something for their employees or something like that, since they're doing a partnership with Airbnb. So that might work out, but yeah, I'm still gonna be down there, man. So I'm hoping that I get the chance to see a lot of us down there. Like I said, maybe I'll just like order some pizza or something. I just want to link up, just to, like I said, I kind of want all of us to see that, there is strength in this community. It's not like, it's not just liking pictures or, commenting. It's like, there's strength in numbers. I'm sure everyone's heard that. So I really want everybody to see that, you can kind of come together and build anything, like. I actually want to create like some type of network where it's just like we could all kind of, not, I don't want to say a group chat, but kind of like a Discord group where it's just like we can all, everybody has different talents, everybody has different resources. It's like there's all type of ways we can be helping each other out, to get to a higher point. Like a lot of people always, post my music, and I'm just like, man, let me know any way, that I could help you, because that's what my music is about. Is about, doing what the fuck you want to do with your life, like making the most of it. The same lessons we learned from, Pharrell and Ego. So it's just like, I think that would be dope, to create like a group where it's just like, if this person does artwork, if this person works at this store, maybe he can get a discount on this clothing for you in exchange for some art he might need done, or maybe you could pay those people and we can just kind of keep that within the community, and actually have things circulating. So I just want people to kind of see that, this is really this whole situation is a dope thing,
Yeah, definitely. And like I say, I know Dave will be heading down there. He at least plans to. I've seen a few other posts from other people who have mentioned they've got tickets and they're going. So I think there should be a fair few. So yeah, maybe somebody, cough cough Dave, should try and arrange something for everyone down there. I did toy with the idea of going. I probably could have got passes from someone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you could probably, if you work hard enough, there's a right person to find, Yeah, there's a right person to find.
There's always someone to reach out to, I think, amongst us lot, and I probably could have, but I know myself and a couple other people that were based here in Europe were looking at it, and we were looking at the cost of flights and things like that, and especially being here in Finland where it costs a small fortune to fly anywhere, it was going to it was going to work out to be a very, very expensive trip, and I've just had 2 trips abroad, and I've got 2 more coming up soon. So
honestly, man, I hope they live stream it. If they live stream it, I'm just gonna sit at fucking home and eat a shit ton of food and watch it. I'm sorry.
that would be good.
I'm sorry. If I found out they're live streaming it, I'm gonna sit in the comfort of my own home and watch the same exact show. You know.
Yeah. But it's one of those shows where if they even if they just did the headlines, that would be what a 5 a.m. kind of thing for me here. I'd happily get up and
right before work, and he's like,
yeah, exactly. Just sit there for a couple of hours and watch that. I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah, so I'm hoping they live stream it, man. That would be a great thing if they live stream it. So I'm hoping one of these companies need to give Pharrell a check to live stream it. YouTube, come with the funds, YouTube. I got $20 to put on top of it. $20 to add to the pot, guys.
I pay for YouTube Premium, so I'm already chucking money at them. So
yeah, man, you should send them an email since you already pay for YouTube Premium and say, hey guys, this festival's coming up. Are you guys gonna be live streaming it? You need that.
I'll see what I can do. All right, yeah. So if anyone out there is going to something in the water, then definitely get in touch.
Yeah, link up, man. Hit me up. Like I said, I wanna get everybody together and just get everybody. Like I said, networking and talking is like you never know what cool shit we all do, or in what ways we can help each other.
For sure, yeah, definitely link up, and I will try and get Dave to post something or arrange something if he's definitely heading down there, which I think he should be in a couple of weeks' time. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And obviously, if you don't follow him, what are you doing?
Yeah, man. Ice Cream Day is coming up, man.
Oh, damn, we've got that. Yeah, we'll mention that in a sec. But yeah, at King of Creams with a Z, obviously, like all the cool kids. So yeah, while we're talking about it, Ice Cream Day, which is in, what date is it now? The 2nd. So we've got 3 days. It's on the 5th of April, National Ice Cream Day.
Boom, boom, boom.
As we did last year, get your ice creams on, your favourite pair, get your best fit on, whether it's ice cream, BBC, whether it's something else, and get some pictures up, basically. Make sure you tag them with... what is the hashtag? That's the question. Oh, we all scream ice creams, again with a Z at the very end, and then tag the Otherz podcast and tag King of Creams.
What do you call a Z?
Z.
Okay, guys, for everyone else who was confused, with a Z at the end, guys. With these,
I should update my language and my vernacular. Seeing
he said with a Z at the end. Everybody's like, "Yo, Kings of Cream Z." Like I can't find the page. Like I put an ED at the end, but I can't find it.
See, I need to play to my audience, seeing as I think 90% of our listeners are American. So
there we go.
I need to start learning this. But I tell you what, if you start pronouncing your name correctly, and then we'll talk about my language.
We'll swap.
All right. So what have we got next? Yeah. So yeah, National Ice Cream Day. Make sure you tag your pictures. We all scream ice creams. Z at the end.
Woo! There we go.
Z, whatever you want to call it.
We would want to call it Z.
So yeah, we've got that coming up. What else have we had recently? This has been going a while now.
Chanel and Pharrell, I believe you were speaking of earlier. The Pharrell Chanel capsule.
Oh, the Chanel, yes. So yeah, this was this last week now. I can't remember what day we're on at the moment. So I think over in Hong Kong they launched this, the Chanel Pharrell or Pharrell Chanel, however which way they market it, capsule.
Pharrell Chanel.
Yeah, exactly, one of them. The capsule collection, which included a number of different items, including jewelry, hoodies, shoes, jeans, all sorts. They're being sold at all of the kind of Chanel flagship stores around the world, as well as I think a couple of Chanel kind of retailers in certain countries where they don't have Chanel stores themselves. Of course, we have nothing in Finland. I think the nearest to me is going to be Paris or somewhere maybe. So I don't see me copping any of these, especially not at Chanel prices.
Come on, Steve. It's not April Fool's anymore, man. You can tell everybody you have the whole collection now. Well, this is April 2nd, man. You can give it up, man. You can let everybody know. that you have the entire collection sent from P.
To be fair, I saw a couple of bits in there that were quite nice. There's a couple of the hoodies that were decent.
Do you think it was worth the money that it's gonna be? Like, do you think you paid $1,200 for a hoodie that says Pharrell in stitched on it?
No. See, that's the point. Like, I get funny looks when I tell people I've spent €300 on a BBC hoodie, and at times even that feels expensive. So, yeah, if you go north of that price, then it's got to be something really, really special. And
like, yo, this got to be diamond encrusted.
yeah, exactly. And while I'm sure these are really well made, I'm sure they're brilliantly designed and all that kind of thing, but I'm not the target market for Chanel, I don't think. And yeah, I don't think I'll be spending my money on the Pharrell Chanel capsule collection.
Yeah, I probably will skip out on the Pharrell Chanel. I mean, I like supporting all of Pharrell's projects, but I'll probably just wait for his next thing. Like, I didn't really support the G-Star jeans, shit either. So it's like, I'll just wait for the next chapter.
Wait till there's a budget version at least.
Yeah, exactly. Wait till, I don't know, maybe I'll get it when it like goes on sale, because a lot of the higher end shit, it always goes on sale because they don't have a big fan base, so
Yeah.
or a big consumer base. So yeah, I might get something when it goes on sale, like a T-shirt if I could find it for like $350 or something like that. I might celebrate with one splurge of the year.
It's got to be done.
I don't know if it's got to be done, but it may be. There's a probability, guys.
It has to be done. That's what I keep telling myself.
You're gonna have somebody DM me like, "Yo, I got one of the shirts. How much you want to get it for?" I'm like, "Yo, not yet, man. Not yet."
The justification is Steve says it has to be done. And on that kind of note, we can talk about a couple of latest pickups. I've got a couple to mention at least. The recent BBC EU leather goods, I copped a couple of those bits. They released 2 card holders, one in a black colorway, one in a gold colorway, and then 2 wallets, again black and gold. I picked up the gold version of the card holder and the wallet. Not used them yet, obviously. Still sat in the box, in the wardrobe. We'll probably use them at some point. But I did have a conversation with someone earlier about these items, and here's some stuff to bear in mind if you are thinking about getting these items. I've got the gold version, and obviously gold is not a natural colour of leather. That may surprise some people. You may think there are gold gilded cows out there, but there are not. They actually have to add that. They have to add that color to the leather afterwards.
They spray paint the cows gold.
There's probably people out there that actually think that. It wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, if you get one of these, I'll talk about the wallet first. The wallet itself is actually quite sizable. It's kind of a bifold wallet. Lots of compartments, very handy. But it does have a big zip that goes all the way around. A very nice zip and a very well-made zip. But it does make the thing about 3 times as thick as any other wallet I've got. It's big, it's quite heavy.
Steve pulls that out when he wants to impress somebody. He's like, yo, let me just go in my wallet here.
Exactly.
It's 10, my wallet is 10 inches wide.
And it's gold. It's shiny gold. You can see your reflection in it. It's a special piece, and it's a really nice piece. But yeah, bear that in mind if you're getting one. It ain't going to fit in your pocket, no matter what type of jeans you wear. And also the card holder. The card holder is really, really thin leather. It's debossed on one side, and then it's completely flat on the other side. And on the completely flat side, where it's very thin leather, and then it's got this kind of gold coating over the top, it picks up scratches really, really easily. So mine turned up and already had some kind of hairline scratches on it, just, through the general kind of manufacture process and shipping process and stuff. If you showed the wallet to anyone else, they wouldn't notice. But me looking at it closely, I can see them. And it looks like the kind of item that it's going to look good. It's great quality. But I think it's going to wear and scratch kind of quite easily. So if you want something that's, for daily usage, you're going to pull, out of your pocket every day, numerous times a day.
Probably not the best thing.
Yeah, reconsider the gold one. I think the black version isn't quite as a kind of shiny finish. I think it is more of a kind of standard leather finish, so it takes a bit more kind of punishment. So maybe consider a black version if you're going to be chucking it in a bag or in your pocket kind of day in, day out. As I say, the gold version, I only use a card holder these days. I currently have the red diamond and dollar BBC one. that's starting to kind of wear a bit after a few years. So I was debating using the gold one, but at the moment I'm thinking I may just kind of leave it packed away somewhere and invest in a different one.
Because that's what we buy things for, children. We buy them
exactly
to put them away. We spend excessive amounts of money on things to store them away and not use them, guys.
Yeah, it's funny how my mother's staying with me this weekend, and I think that's something. Yeah, that's something she said numerous times as well. And one other pickup as well, and a shout out. I can't remember what the actual release is. I know the hat itself comes from the Tokyo store, I believe, and it may be like an anniversary kind of thing. So it's the kind of Starfield design that you mentioned earlier on the front of a baseball cap. What's the brand? It's a US kind of actual baseball brand. Michelin something.
Michelin-S.
That's it, yeah. Yep. That's the ones, yeah. So it's a collaboration with them. It's a kind of dark blue fitted with the Starfield pattern and the astronaut kind of face on the front. Really random find. Shout out to Air Sweater on Instagram. He actually hooked me up with this. He posted a picture of him wearing the hat. I messaged him and said...
Steve said, give me that.
Something along those lines. I said, if you ever fancy selling that hat, I'm your man. I love that Starfield design. I will happily take that off your hands. Strangely enough, he said, it belongs to my friend. I'll ask him. He asked his friend. His friend had two of them, funnily enough, and wanted to part with one of them. He sorted me out a really fair price, shipped it over all the way from China. It arrived today. Really nice hat. I'll be wearing that a lot this summer, I think. So yeah, shout out Air Sweater for hooking me up with that.
Yo, that with the chain, you're gonna be all set, Steve. You're gonna be out here killing the game, bro.
I've got to say, so for those that don't follow myself personally, maybe, or even you personally, I think most people listening probably do and probably saw this as part of your packages that you were doing with your album release, with the t-shirts and the stickers and whatnot. One person was gonna get like a little ice cream chain that you had. You very kindly selected myself and I received that. But now that I've received it, I'm like, that's actually like a really nice, like cool design. And I don't wear jewelry or chains or anything. I wear a watch and that's it. But I'm like, that would actually look really good with full-on stones in it. So I'm now trawling jewelers looking for actual, well, firstly, gold chains, which would kind of fit correctly. And then I'm actually looking possibly for an independent jeweler who might actually do me a custom piece.
Yo, you just heard it here first. Steve X Bin Baller going down summer 2019.
I did think of that, but I thought he may charge me a little bit too much.
J Balvin got nothing on him.
Yeah, I'm not sure I could afford Ben Baller status kind of pieces, but no, I'm kind of hunting around here for kind of local artists and jewelers to see if there's possibly someone out there that could do a piece for me.
Yeah, I have another one to give away too, man. So there'll be another one going out as well, guys. So keep a lookout for that one. More giveaways.
Well, let's get to that then. Let's get to, you can plug the album, plug your giveaways, plug whatever you like now. Go for it.
So I'm not going to go too crazy with the plugs. I just really want to say thank you to everybody who listened to Flamingo. Honestly, I really can't put into words, from the support that I've gotten. Like, I worked on music a long time, so I definitely feel like, the universe somewhat repays you, for the effort or energy you put in. So I feel like, some of this is that, but also a part of me just kind of can't accept the fact that, like people are, listening to my music, just randomly, or sometimes I'll log into my Spotify and it's like, you have 3 people listening, and just even the places that people are listening, Japan, France, Finland, like the UK, like it's crazy. So, I don't really want to plug. If anything, I just want to say thank you. If you haven't heard Flamingo, then please check that out. I guess maybe I'll drop this here then, since you kind of have to listen to this to get the insider info. But I'll be releasing Flamingo 2 on June 1st. So I'll be right back, just because I kind of want to show people that, it's not like I don't take like the support for granted, so I really want to get better with music. I want to give people more of, what they want to, what they like, as well as, just the input or the feedback that I've gotten from people. Like, this album is gonna be a bit more of the In Search Of vibe, where it's just more like, very, very rock based. It'll have like, hard rap shit on there, but I really think that that's somewhere that something I've grown comfortable with, especially seeing how people gravitated to records like Whoa or New Life. Is like, those are records where it's like it's rapping, but it's a bit more of it's not as a hard vibe. So I'm really experimenting with that. But yeah, this next project is gonna be dope, man. So I don't want to plug it too much. It's just thank you for listening. Anybody who, even if you liked the picture, didn't listen, just the fact that, I'm not just creating something and nobody's seeing it. I think that that's a blessing. That, if you ever saw it across your timeline, even if you didn't like it, thank you for even seeing it, and letting it get into your brain, even if it's for a point of 1 second, like, I appreciate that so much. So yeah, Flamingo 2, June 1st, man. And hit me up if you still want to grab some teas or whatever. I'll have some more giveaways coming up. I want to do some skateboard decks and things like that. Give 2 or 3 of those away. So I'm just trying to get everything figured out, man. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
There we go.
By the way, it's on all platforms as well. So you guys can find it anywhere.
Some world exclusive news there, and also, yes, you can get that on all platforms, and I'll put some links in the show notes to the various different platforms that you can go and find that on, so people can go straight there. And yeah, if you've not listened so far, then please make sure you do. It's a really great album. Yeah, if you're listening to this, you're obviously a Pharrell and or N.E.R.D fan. This, the album, you can hear those kind of Neptune's, Pharrell kind of influences in there amongst a lot of the beats and the rhymes and stuff. So I think if you're listening to this podcast, there's a fairly certain chance that you will enjoy the album.
Sir.
All right, well, let's...
By the way, sorry for keeping you up so late too, man.
It's fine, don't worry. It's, what is it now? Nearly midnight here. That's not too bad. We've done well. But on that note, we will wrap it up. You can find all of said show notes either scroll down in the podcast app that you're listening to this in, or you can go to the website, which is the Otherz with a Z.net. Sorry, a Z. The Otherz with a Z.net. We've got it. We got it in the end. All the show notes and whatnot will be there. You can find us on Instagram, again, with links and everything like that, at Otherz Podcast. You can find me at Steve R. Penny on most places. And where can people find yourself?
You can find me on Instagram at Deau Boy Meets World. You can also find me on all streaming platforms as Doughboy. Preferably, if you guys will follow my Spotify, that would be cool. But that's like the main things that I'm live on.
Good stuff. And like I say, there will be links in the show notes to all of those platforms. So we'll leave it there. And we'll speak to you next time, everyone. Bye-bye.
Sir.